It may seem odd to you that in a revolutionary 3D design program, you will begin by learning to draw and edit 2D lines and shapes. However, any 3D object requires, at minimum, detailed information in at least 2 of the 3 dimensions. Once 2 dimensions are defined, Autodesk Revit can begin to automate much of the 3rd dimension for you. Many building components and features will require that you draw the parameter using 2D lines. Many of the edit tools that are covered in this lesson are the same tools that are used to edit the 3D building components. Let's take a look at drawing lines and shapes. I'm going to start with an architectural template. In the File tab, I'm going to click New, Project, go to Architectural Template, and then hit OK. Or, as you saw me do before, I picked Architectural Template from the previous screen. The next step is I'm going to select View, and I'm going to select in the Create box right here, Drafting View. This is a new Drafting View dialog box that pops up. I'm going to name this EX3-1. And I'm going to change the scale to 3/4 of an inch equals 1 foot dash 0 inches. And then I'm going to say OK. I now am in a drafting view as indicated by my properties box. In the project browser, I'm going to click the plus symbol next to the label drafting view. So here's my project browser, here's the plus symbol, click that, and you see the exercise that we just made, 3-1. Now we're going to start looking at the Detail Lines tools. So on the Annotate tab, we're going to click on Detail Line. When I select Detail Line, some specific options that are specific to the detail line pop up in this green box. So see how it says Modify Place Detail Lines? These only come up when I click on Detail Lines. I'm going to go to the Draw tab, and I'm going to select Draw a Line, so that's this one. And now I'm going to draw a diagonal line across my paper. So you'll see that it's indicating the angle of the line here. I'm just going to do a 45, and I'm going to make a line. Now to get out of the command, you can do 2 things. You can right click and you can say cancel, but then you're still in the command. See how my cursor still looks like it's got the command active? I would have to right click and cancel again. You can also hit escape twice, or you can click on modify up here. I'll do that in the next step. In this next step, I'm going to change the exact size of this line. So I'm going to click on the line and you see a dimension pops up. This is called the temporary dimension. It's in blue. If you want to make it a permanent dimension, you would click on this little icon right here and you see that it says make this temporary dimension permanent. So now it's black, which means it's a permanent dimension. To change the dimension, you actually don't click in the dimension box. You have to click on the object that you want to change the dimension of. So I want to change the dimension of this line, so I have to click on the line. And I want the dimension to be 22 feet 6 inches. I don't have to put feet and inches in here. I can just do 22 space 6 and hit enter, and Revit understands that you meant 22 feet 6 inches. A few things about the dimensions that you're going to see are this lock, unlock icon. So if you click lock, that will constrain it so that you cannot change the length of this line. So we'll keep it so it's always 22 feet 6 inches. I'm going to unlock that for now. This right here, these little grips allow you to move the witness line. So the witness line is this extension line that comes off of the dimension. So if you needed to move that, say to a different spot on this line, you could grab it and pull it. You can also click on it and it will select different spots along the line. With the diagonal line selected, if you look in the properties box, you notice that it's going to tell you information about that line type. So for example, this is set on thin lines. If you wanted the line to be a hidden line or a thicker line, you can change it over here in the properties box. You can also change it up here in this modify lines box. Next, we're going to walk through drawing an 8-inch horizontal line. So we're going to go back to the Annotate tab, select Detail Line, and this time we're going to draw the line in the upper left-hand corner of the drawing window. So we're going to pick a point somewhere up here, and we're going to start moving our mouse horizontally, as you can see. And as we move it, we're going to type 8 inches and then hit Enter. So it will create an 8-inch line up here. You can now use the Measure tool, which is in the Quick Access toolbar up here, to measure to verify that this is an 8-inch line. Now to zoom back out, what you want to do is click on the Modify bar, and you can double click on your mouse wheel and it will zoom the entire drawing. You can also type Zoom Extents, so ZE, and it will zoom the entire window. Next, we're going to draw a 600-foot line. So we're going to select the Detail Line tool, and we're going to pick a point in the lower right-hand corner of the drawing window. So I'm going to scroll out on my mouse wheel, come over here. I'm going to pick a point. I'm going to pick a point that's at the bottom of this. Try. And then I'm going to point my cursor upward, take my hand off of the mouse. I'm going to type 600 on my keyboard and hit Enter. And then I'm going to click Modify to get out of the command. I'm going to type ZE on my keyboard to zoom extents. So you see that that line is very, very long. I'm going to actually zoom back in so I can just see this information down here. Revit will also draw shapes for you, and it provides several tools to do so. So we are going to zoom in on this area down here, and then we're going to select Detail Line again. And to zoom in, you just scroll in and out with your mouse wheel. You're going to notice the options bar up here. We have a rectangle, an inscribed polygon, circumscribed polygon, circle, arc, ellipse, and some other choices of objects that we can draw. We're going to select the rectangle tool. We're going to pick the first corner somewhere near the lower center of the drawing window, so somewhere down here. So our start point should be here. We pick, and then as you notice, as I pull my mouse away, it starts to create a rectangle. So I did not draw my rectangle size correctly, so what I'm going to do is use these temporary dimensions to adjust the size of the rectangle. So I'm going to click on the Modify toolbar, and then I'm going to click back on the rectangle. And what I need is, it wants me to select, it wants me to draw a rectangle that's 2 by 8 by 4 by 4. So the 2 by 8 would be this way, 4 by 4 would be this way. So what I'm going to do is I need to move this horizontal line, or this horizontal line, doesn't matter. I'm going to click on this, and I have to click on, remember, the line I want to move, and then I change the temporary dimension. So in this dimension, what I'm going to type is 4 space 4 and hit Enter, and it knows I mean 4 feet 4 inches. The next thing I want to do is I want to make it 2 foot 8 this way. So I'm going to click on this line, because this is the line I want to move, and now I can adjust the temporary dimensions, and I can say 2 space 8 and hit Enter, and now I have a rectangle that's 2 foot 8 by 4 foot 4. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a circle. So we're going to go back to Detail Lines, and we're going to select Circle from the tools. And I am now prompted to find the center point of that circle. So let's say I want to draw my circle somewhere in here. So I'm just going to pick a point arbitrarily on the screen, and I want to draw it with a radius of 1 foot, 6 5/8 of an inch. I'm going to hit enter. Oops, did I type the wrong thing? Possibly did. So it looks like it said 5. I meant 6. Remember, radius is only half of that. So now if I look, I have 1 foot 6 5/8 circle. Alright, so I'm going to zoom out. Oh, actually, I'm going to zoom in so I can see this. And then I'm going to continue on looking at the snaps. Please go ahead and save your project as exercise 3-1. So we're going to do File, Save As, Project, and I want to make sure that you're putting it in a folder. So let's talk about organization of files. I'm going to go to my drive. You should go to your student drive that you have, Z, and you want to create a folder that's called Revit. And then inside of this folder, what I suggest you do is to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it Class 1, and I'm going to save this project in that folder. So I'm going to double click on Class 1, and I want this to be EX3-1. Now it automatically saves it as a .rvt file. So this means that it's a Revit file. This is what we want, .rvt. So we're going to say save. So organization of files is very important when you start to work in industry and as you progress along in your schoolwork. If you don't organize things, it makes it difficult to find items later, which becomes frustrating to you. I also recommend saving your files in more than one spot. So you may want to back up your files on Google Drive. I have a full disk, which means my C drive is full. Don't worry about this message. If you do get this, please let me know. It means that we need to expand your storage space. But either way, your file should have saved. We're going to continue to work with this same file in the next exercise.